Okay, if you've watched my previous videos, you know that Jackson Hinkle doesn't understand helicopters. He also doesn't understand buildings, believe it or not. Now, what do you see here? You see a designated smoking area? And how does that work? Well, they're always outside, right? They're never in the building. You know, you'd think most people would understand this. What if I told you that Jackson Hinkle doesn't understand why these smoking signs, designated smoking areas, are outside of a building as opposed to inside of a building? You might think, nah, there's no way he does not understand that. Well, I'll let you decide for yourself. First, I'm gonna establish a few things, just some facts, and then I'll show you the clip that shows that Jackson Hinkle doesn't understand buildings.
Those conditions can actually take place in as little as 30 minutes, depending on the concentration of the chlorine gas in the air. Now, conveniently for my narrative, these bombs were dropped in enclosed areas. These weren't dropped into the street. They were dropped into a roof in a bedroom, meaning that the chlorine gas exposure was in a highly concentrated area.
So there were open windows, there was an open roof.
Testimony of a green cloud shortly after the dropping of these canisters. Now, highly dispersed chlorine gas wouldn't produce visual effects like that, but highly concentrated chlorine gas would. There are witness testimonies of people dropping dead within seconds of the drop of the bomb. This is consistent with a highly pressurized and highly contained release of chlorine gas.
I'm curious what those sources are. Are those the white helmets?
Okay, so what have we established? We've established that if you drop a cylinder in a building, it can create huge concentrations of chlorine and, it'll have effects really quickly, which isn't that surprising. And, when you watch this clip, just pay attention. Now, I'm going to apologize a bit because Jackson did something to Vaush's sound so that, it creates little sound inconsistencies. Jackson is way louder than Vaush. But pay attention, does Jackson actually claim that open battlefields will result in a higher concentration than an enclosed building? Because that would be like saying that if you smoke outside, people are going to get affected more than if you smoke inside, which, do you think Jackson would actually say something like that? We'll see.
If chlorine gas was released, it would have been able to be released in amounts significant enough to cause pulmonary edema.
So Vaush,
these toxicologists were working off limited information.
That's not an accurate characterization. That is not an accurate characterization. Vaush, for the frothing to develop, they would have had to been there for a prolonged period of time based on the concentration of chlorine. The sources that you're citing referring to instantaneous deaths from chlorine exposure are in world wars where you have massive clouds of chlorine consuming open war fields and sinking into trenches where troops are stationed. This is completely different.
Yes, Doofus, it's completely different. Open war fields are different than an enclosed building. In an enclosed building, you'll get much higher concentrations than open battlefields where the chlorine is sinking into trenches. Much like the same way if you smoke outdoors, it's not a big deal, but if you smoke indoors, it's suffocating. It just blows my mind that the guy can say something that dumb and be so confident and think he won, and his followers think he won too. So, anyway, there you have it. Jackson Hinkle, he doesn't understand helicopters, and he doesn't understand buildings. Thank you. Have a nice day.